What's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blogs.
Rotating my stylist. Brokenness feeling like sin. Not no breath, low dollar. Used to.
Roxstars, so I am under the weather. I took off from work yesterday and today. Today is Friday. Yesterday was Thursday. I couldn't even get out of bed yesterday. And it kind of felt like allergies, but I think it might be my allergies, just body aches and headache and stuffy head and just nose running. That's why, you guys, if my nose, it happens and I don't even realize it. So y'all give me a pass today, but I'm not feeling well. But you know, YouTube, you can't take off. I mean, you can take off, but anybody with a small business will let you know that if you not working, you ain't getting no money. If it's a one-man show. So I have to do this today. Okay, so we're gonna get through this, you guys. First up, ChrisBrown. All I got to say, you guys, is I wish everybody would decide whether or not they're gonna like ChrisBrown or not, okay? One minute you like him, next minute you don't. And I just don't know where we stand collectively as Black people when it comes to ChrisBrown. The newest, well, he's been in the news for the last few weeks. You know, it's just been one event after the next. You know, it was mostly about him not performing the Michael Jackson tribute. That was the first thing. Everybody was upset about that. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people. And then his name stayed out there in the news as he dropped this new collaboration with Chloe Bailey. The people didn't like that. They said that Chloe makes bad decisions by linking herself up with somebody as polarizing as ChrisBrown. I don't know what the issue is. I mean, ChrisBrown, that's all I hear on the radio is his music. So I'm trying to figure out why all of a sudden that was a bad move for Chloe. People were upset about that. Then we got, you know, your regular story about some Black girls saying that they weren't allowed into his VIP section. And that seemed to reinforce what a lot of Black women feel, that he doesn't like Black women. He likes exotic types. But then those Black girls did backtrack and say, okay, no, he wasn't the one that didn't let him in the VIP and all of that. So that story is a little shaky. Of course, we know he didn't win the Grammy. He had a lot to say about Robert Glasper, who won over him, and then he apologized to Robert Glasper for saying what he said, you know, but just saying again that he shouldn't even have been in the same category as Robert Glasper. Their music is totally different. You know, that happens a lot of times. They don't know where to put these Black people, their music. They kind of put them in certain categories and, you know. So anyway, folks were upset about that. Okay, him going off on Robert Glasper, but then he did apologize. He finally put out a statement saying that you guys are going to continue to be mad at me for something that, you know, a decision that I made. Yeah, it was bad, but I made it when I was 17 years old. You know, you guys are going to continue to hold me to the cross for something I did when I was young, you know. Come here, Blue. His feeling was just sort of like, well, fuck you guys, all right? People were like, he conveniently forgets all of the stuff that happened with Karrueche Tran, his other girlfriend, you know, when he was pushing her down the stairs and threatening her, and she had to get a restraining order and all of that. Yeah, that also did happen. We're not gonna minimize it, you guys. We're not gonna act like it didn't happen. It did. But I kind of feel like ChrisBrown has stayed out the way, has grown as he's had his children, has made better decisions for himself. And, you know, I'm just all about giving people that second chance to do better. And I kind of feel like he does. But I think that a lot of people still, understandably, you know, feel like that's something that they can't compromise on. If they feel that way about ChrisBrown, then it is what it is, you know. But it's always interesting how many people are so vested in that story when, you know, like he said, there are many other folks that also have had domestic violence issues in the past. And you know, they don't get the same scrutiny that he does. I was just like, well, you know, he posted a post and had all of these people, Mel Gibson, and I was just like, not one of them is black. Black people, we're held to a different standard, and we have to do differently than, you know, the others. And I think that Chris Brown definitely should know that. I mean, you know, we can't do the same thing that the white folks do and get away with it, you know, and still get booked for gigs and, you know, get acting jobs and all of that. I mean, it's a totally different thing. And then we also have to remember that for a long time, Chris Brown was sort of like, you know, his attitude was just sort of like in your face and kind of like taunting the media and all of that. So I think that that's also a reason why the media gives him such a hard time, and sometimes, you know, social media. Child, then we got to throw in what happened this past week, which was he's on tour in London, and he apparently had allowed some of the cast members from Baddies West from Zeus Network behind stage, you know, I guess to see him or whatever. And we had NatalieNunn, we had Tommie from Love and Hip Hop. We had a couple other people. I don't watch Zeus, so I don't know what these folks' names are. I've just seen the clips on social media, but apparently he had them backstage, and Tommie, who was hyped up on either drugs or alcohol or a combination of the two, apparently she saw Chris Brown's child and started to go towards the child as if like, you know, and saying like, oh my God, look at Chris Brown's son, you know. And as soon as she said that, they said that somebody in the room snatched the boy back and they slammed the door in her face. Now, depending on who you ask, NatalieNunn and the others say that Tommie just went berserk, went crazy, tried to kick down the door because the door was slammed in her face. Tommie says she did nothing of the sort, okay? And Tommie went on to her social media as she was getting her makeup done and had a whole lot of just unnecessary, just a whole bunch of trifling things to say about Chris Brown's baby mother and the child, calling them albinos, which is nothing wrong with being an albino, but they're not albino. You know, she talked about them, you know, she don't care. Why would she do something like that? And yeah, you guys. So I don't really know what's going on with Tommie. I don't even know why I need to be talking about Tommie or NatalieNunn or anybody from Zeus. I just really try to stay away from them. You know, Jocelyn's cabaret was enough. It has gotten exponentially worse. Okay, that network has gotten so bad. It's just chaotic. It's just always fighting. And then you wonder why people are the way that they are today. I ain't got time to go into no diatribe about, you know, why folks act the way that they do now. But you can't tell me that the media and these shows don't influence and affect our children, our youth, especially today. And not just youth, you know. It's crazy. It's just craziness. And, you know, them going off, of course, NatalieNunn did apologize to Chris Brown and his team. They never even responded. Okay. They never said anything about it, but Tommie's IG did get deleted. So I'm assuming that's because he was able to pull some strings, or not even pull some strings. I'm sure that's against the guidelines to be saying things like that about people's children and everything. So they actually deleted her content off of her page. She doesn't have a page currently, and we'll see if she gets it back. She probably will, but you know, they got to teach you a lesson every now and then. So anyway, I don't even know, we getting off track with Chris, but I just will add that NatalieNunn and Tommie are about to have a fight on Zeus Network. Okay, apparently they have an exhibition fight, Floyd Mayweather and somebody. I don't even know why Floyd is tarnishing his legacy with this kind of foolishness, but I mean, I guess the money is good, okay? But before Floyd's fight is going to be NatalieNunn and Tommie. And child, we're gonna see how that goes, okay? We just gonna see. I'm sure we'll see it on the clips. Natalie is very, very, very confident that she is going to rock her shit, is what she said, when they get into the ring. Every time I have seen NatalieNunn fight, she doesn't come out the victor. So I'm just gonna wait and see how this turns out. We know that Tommie is like a fucking wild ass banshee, and definitely has fighting skills. We'll see how it translated to the ring, considering this is not street fighting, or this is supposed to be like classic boxing. So, child, we'll see. It's foolishness, and I am never interested in celebrity boxing matches. And I definitely don't want to see women fighting in no damn ring. I've never even been a fan of like female boxers. It's just something very barbaric to me that I mean, it's already hard enough watching men do it. Women doing it is not my thing. But if I was a betting woman, and I'm not, but if I was, I'd put my money on Tommie. That bitch is crazy. But I feel like also Tommie has addiction issues that she's never dealt with. She needs to get a handle on them, because she says things and does things that continues to keep her in trouble, okay? But anyway, all that to say, I done got totally off of Chris Brown, which was what this segment was about. The black delegation, I just really want y'all to let me know where do we stand on the Chris Brown situation now? Are we gonna be his friend or we not? Are we still holding him to the cross about what he's done in the past, or have we felt that he has grown? Okay, what exactly is the how do we move forward in this? You guys let me know.
Be left on red, now all the girls go holler. Now all the girls go follow. All the fake friends gon' pile up.
All right, you guys, next story up. So your boy DonLemon, child, he just stay in trouble over there on CNN. Everybody stays in trouble on CNN. I was like, in a minute, CNN ain't gonna have no damn staff left. They gonna end up firing all of their on-air personalities. You know, the ones that are the favorites that have been around for years. We just talked about Chris last week. Now this week we talking about Don. Okay, Don was on his show, CNN in the Morning. And they were talking about women, I believe, in politics. And Don tripped himself up. You know, that's the thing with working on live TV. That's one of the reasons why I don't like doing live videos, is because a lot of times you might say something that you cannot take back. It's already out there. Even if you didn't mean it the way that it came out, you know, you don't have time to clarify. People just... So Don said that women are in their prime in their 20s and 30s, maybe 40s, okay? The co-host, Poppy Harlow, was like, prime for what? As soon as he said that, I was just like, oh yeah, this is not fixing to go in your favor, okay? And he went on to try to explain, like, that's not what I feel, but that's what they say, okay? And he kept on trying to say, you know, and of course, Poppy Harlow is just like, and the other lady that was also up there who just kind of just sat there and listened was disgusted. Of course, people think that that's ageist, that's sexist, because men, you know, historically are able to continue on in politics. I mean, our president is in his late 70s, early 80s or something like that. YSAP was in his 70s, you know, and many of the gatekeepers in politics are many of them are very old, okay, and male. So we don't say those kind of things about men, but we say those things about women. I mean, we've been going through this for many, many years. Okay, this is nothing new. But DonLemon spoke out of turn, and he's gotten himself in hot water because of it. I'm sorry, I got the hiccups, y'all. So apparently they took Don off. Well, they didn't take Don off, depending on who you ask. Don stepped down, suspended himself, if you will, from one of his episodes of his show, so that he can get formal training on his feelings about women being in their prime, because apparently Don is not clear on these things. So CNN wants to make sure that he knows. I'm always wondering what the formal training is. Does he sit down with the HR person and do they have like a conversation, and then does he have a test that he has to like what does this formal training entail? Or is it just a conversation with somebody that can enlighten him? I think immediately Don knew that he shouldn't have said that, but that's again what I'm saying. Dumb remark and all of that. Now, do I feel like he needs to get fired over something like that? No, I don't. Okay. I don't think that what he said is harmful to anybody. Yes, it was a dumb statement. And especially in today's climate where women ain't trying to hear nothing like that, period. I don't think that that's something that he should get fired for. People are getting fired for all kind of outlandish and very simple and small things, in my opinion. Okay? Go on and send the boy to training. Let him figure out what the hell he need to not say on air anymore, and then bring his ass back. Don said that when he makes a mistake, he owns it. Okay, and this was a mistake, and he owns this as well. So he understands what he's done, and CNN has decided to, go on and throw him a bone, let him go to this formal training, learn to communicate better, and then he'll be back on the air, you guys. But I have a feeling that this is kind of like a strike one kind of situation. So we're going to see how much of that rope they give Don to either hang himself or get in line. But yeah, honey, I feel like I'm in my prime in certain ways. Anyway, you guys, that's that on that. Let's move on to the next.
I need peace to borrow, get that shit right back tomorrow. Somehow all the fans go bravo, smile so much to hide my sorrow.
All right, you guys, next story up. So it seems your boy Boosie Badass, mama named him Torrance Hatch Jr., has decided that he is going to cancel the collaborative album with your boy T.I. Mama named him Clifford Harris. I think he's a junior as well, you guys. I like to lovingly call him the intelligent adjacent, the IA. Apparently they had a collaborative album that they were going to put out together. I think it wasn't nothing that was really on the table just yet, but they've always said that they were going to do something together. Well, Boosie had said that he ain't doing it no more. Why, you ask? Well, because of an interview that the IA was on. He was on a podcast, I believe, and he was bringing forth a story about his now deceased cousin, Toot, okay? And apparently, Toot and him were involved in some illegalities involving designer clothing, and, the police, I guess they did get in trouble for it, but the police never knew exactly who was the one that was guilty in that, they never said. Well, Toot has gone on to... he has since passed. And during that interview, the IA said that he felt like Toot would have wanted him to let everybody know that Toot was actually the one that was guilty so that T.I. could go on to be a free man. Okay? Or something along those lines, you guys. But basically, he was snitching on his now dead cousin, according to Boosie Badass. And that... Boosie was like, I don't give a damn if you alive or not alive. If you are snitching to get yourself out of a predicament when you were doing the same thing as the other person, I've already given you guys what my definition of snitching is, which is basically what Boosie is saying. I was like, I can't believe that I find myself agreeing with Boosie. Okay. So Boosie was on Vlad TV and he was like irritated with T.I., and felt like that was like, you being a snitch. And he said he even thought about it and was like, T.I. gotta be lying. Like, he didn't even believe the story, and we know that T.I. likes to hear himself speak. This is the reason of his nickname, the IA. He feels that he is, he feels like he contributes to the conversation. Like, whatever it is, he always got something to say on it. And usually he feels his word is the word, So T.I. gets on these things and he talks probably without thinking, considering himself maybe funny or giving like a, an anecdote that people will enjoy, and then it comes back, in the form of Boosie saying that he ain't gonna do this collaborative album with T.I. I don't think that T.I., first of all, don't nobody care really too much about T.I. having an album or Boosie at this point. Like, nobody is checking for them no more, okay? Yes, they have their fans, and I actually am a T.I. fan, okay? But just for the music, you guys, when I got to deal with T.I. in any other realm, it's something totally different. But Boosie said that he felt like he was lying, and then, funny enough, T.I. came out and said, yeah, actually he was lying. That he was just kind of being sarcastic and giving a story. And I was like, see, that's the whole thing. This is what gets you in trouble, the IA. Okay, because this is the same thing that happened with you saying that you take your daughter to the gynecologist to get her hymen checked. Okay, and then you said that wasn't true, but you put the story out there, and of course everybody is gonna pounce on it, like, T.I. is taking his daughter. And first of all, he's such a male chauvinist that I could almost picture him doing something like that, but I would like to believe that he really wasn't going that far with his daughter. But that was another one of them sound bites that didn't do him well. And then, of course, he came out and said it wasn't true and all of that. So it's just sort of like, I'm going to need T.I. to sit his ass down some damn where and quit giving up these made-up stories if he say they made up. Because one minute they true, the next they made up. Stop doing that, okay? I know he fancies himself as a comedian. I haven't seen any of his, his stand-up I haven't seen any of his stand-up work. What's going on with this? Is he really doing the Red Fox movie? You guys keep on telling me that he was, but I ain't heard nothing else about it. So it's like, what is it? He just really delving real deep into this character, trying to do this stand-up comedy thing. But anyway, I mean, I kind of agreed with Boosie in the point where you even snitching on your damn dead cousin. That was a story, even if it was true, that we did not never need to know. The man is dead. He's no longer here. You are free. Nobody is even riding you about whatever that situation was back in the day with the damn designer clothes. Why bring it up? Just trying to relate with these young kids. Your ass is in your 40s. Like, let them kids be the ones that's giving them kind of stories. And the stories that T.I. give, it just be like, where you come from? Something's wrong with T.I., y'all. Anyway, that's that. Boosie say he ain't doing it. The IA say that's fine. He ain't trying to mess with Boosie no more either, because Boosie have his number. And if he wanted to talk to him about it, he could have. I was just like, well, Boosie put it out on the interview the same way you did, so... child, that's that. Real quick note, I was in the Greenbrier Mall one day. That was me, boo. I was in the Greenbrier Mall, and honey, Boosie's son was filming a video in one of the jewelry stores. And they had all of this security and stuff. The jewelry store is like all white, and it has like all, clear, the diamonds and shit that's all sparkling, and all the clear cabinets and all of that. And he was in white, and he had all his people, all his boys, they was all in white, and they was all, whoa, 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 all bunched up in the middle of this damn jewelry store. I was like, what is going on? They was like, step back, ma'am. I was like, you ain't got to worry. I'm not trying to go see Boosie badass and stuff. First of all, I didn't even know who he was. I was just like, who is that? Okay. And I heard a lady say, oh, that's Boosie's son, to one of her kids. And I was just like, oh, okay. But I don't even know if that video ever came out. But yeah, they was like, step back. Nigga, I'm trying to go to Lady Foot Locker. Ain't nobody trying to fuck with Boosie's son. Child, anyway, let me move on to the next story. All right, you guys, next story up. So Eric Holder, who is the person that killed Nipsey Hussle, mama named him Ermias Asghedom, has been found guilty, and he was sentenced to 60 years to life, which was kind of confusing when I heard the sentencing, because usually it's 25 years to life, but this is how the breakdown went. So he got 25 years for the murder count. He got 25 years to life for the sentence enhancement because he used a gun when he killed Nipsey Hussle. And then he got 10 years for shooting 2 other men, okay, that same day. So when you add all that up, it's 60 years to life. I believe that he won't be out of jail. 60 years to life. He'll spend the rest of his life in jail as long as they don't have some sort of cockamamie early release program, for good behavior. I don't think they will for him because he had just gotten out of jail right before that happened. And we know that California has the 3 strikes rule. I don't know if that applies in this situation, but he's going to be in jail for the rest of his life, and very good for him. Actually, people are saying that he probably won't survive in jail, and I was like, yeah, he might not, or he might know how to navigate the jail very well. I mean, he's been in there. It's not like he's not from prison life. And sadly enough, everybody don't love Nipsey Hussle, and we know that because someone killed him. So he may get up in there and the politics in the jail is totally different. So we don't know how that might turn out for him. I know he should be worried though. I'm sure people are going to be trying to get at him, so it's good that we finally got this case resolved. It did take a long time for all this to finally be said and done, but he has been in jail this whole time. So it hasn't been like he hasn't, that he's been out and about. He has been in jail. I believe that they have the correct man in jail. Even if he was put up to it, people are still saying that he was hired by somebody else to do it, which could be true. These things you'll never know. But yes, 60 years to life in prison. I hope this brings some closure to the family of Nipsey, and that everybody can heal and move on with their lives. All right, you guys, next story up. So Malcolm X and his death, his family has decided to sue the city of New York, the FBI, and the CIA for burying evidence that was important to the case when Malcolm X was killed. This was back in 1965. We know that they just recently told us that the people that were in jail for killing him were not guilty, and that there was a larger conspiracy behind the killing of Malcolm. I mean, I think we all know this now, okay? And the family is saying, well, now that it has been well documented, everybody knows that the government was involved in burying a lot of this evidence and hiding the evidence. They feel like, somebody needs to pay. Even if Malcolm X is no longer alive, his family, his friends, his loved ones, and people that look up to him and look to him, even in his death, people are wanting to be vindicated in this situation, which is very understandable. So they are suing for $100 million in damages. Now, they done hired on mega lawyer Ben Crump, and he's representing the family. And we know that anytime Ben Crump is involved on these high profile cases, that, he tries to make sure he gets the job done. Okay, this brings more attention to his law firm himself. He's like a modern day Johnny Cochran, you guys. Crump said that it's not just about the trigger men, okay? That it's also about who hired these trigger men on to kill Malcolm X, that they covered up a lot of things, they put out a lot of false leads, and they ultimately, the people that were very much responsible for it were not, held to justice. So that is what they are doing now. That is what the family is trying to do, is to make sure that, somebody's got to pay. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all. I don't give a damn if it was 55 years ago or however long ago it was. Man was killed, and the person or the persons responsible need to be held accountable. So I hope that they get all that they can out of that lawsuit.
Running from pain, running from strain, running from things, running from schemes.
you guys, next story of, so your girl Gabrielle Union was doing an interview with Hello Beautiful. Okay. And apparently someone asked her, you know, if there was a future biopic or biopic, you know, I can't never say that, but if there was ever a movie made about the story of her life, you know, who would she want to play these people? Who would she want to play her? And she went on to say Ryan Destiny, which was interesting because people had compared her to, you know, Ryan Destiny to her before in the past, and I feel like she had something not so nice to say about that. Coco Jones, which I think is the girl from Bel Air. Those were all great choices. And then she said, the older me, I think Janet. And I was like, Janet who? Janet Jackson? Yes, child, Janet Jackson. And listen, you guys, I understand that it's just, you know, she was just kind of saying like, who would her dream people be? But it's just sort of like, why would you think Janet Jackson, even though I'm sure she's probably heard that her and Janet Jackson have some similar, they kind of look alike in certain ways. But Janet is older than you. So how is she going to play an older you, but you ain't even lived the life for her to play the older you yet? Okay. Secondly, I know it's a movie role and everything, but usually when people play somebody, it's like an homage. You want this legendary woman, Janet Jackson, to play you, and maybe not the other way around. I just thought it was, is it just me? But I was just like, girl, Janet Jackson. I mean, you was fine with the Coco and the Destiny. I mean, the Ryan Destiny girl. We could put a little aging makeup on the two of them and just let them continue on. But you trying to get Janet Jackson in the midst. I know Janet Jackson was like, girl, you ain't got enough money to pay me to play you. Child, please. That Gabrielle, though, she tried it. But she even mentioned Ashanti, could maybe play her in her 30s and 40s. And I was just like, wow, that is wild. I could probably see Ashanti maybe playing Gabrielle as an older woman, get some makeup on her to make her look older. But Janet Jackson, girl, no. That's just going to be a no for me. Y'all let me know. Can you see Janet Jackson playing Gabrielle Union in a movie? Don't even sound right.
I can't hold a frown too long. I can't stay down too long. Running from pain, running from strain, running from